Hey everyone, welcome to Unique Ways with Thomas Gerard, an audio podcast. Got a really great guest on. She makes stuff like moonlearning.io and the solo.io and enjoys speaking at conferences about intersections of UI design, coding, and solopreneurship. Please join me in welcoming Christine Vallaure. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Are you ready for 20 questions?
I am.
Great. Question one, tell me a little bit more about yourself. What do you do?
As you said, I like making things, and it's usually digital things, digital products, and I like building them solo. So I have no team, no funding, and so primarily it's my platform, which is a learning platform for UX and UI and Figma called Moon Learning. And then I also wrote a book called Solo, where I talk about like building and launching your own product. And I do a lot of conferences, so that's like my fun thing on the side. I talk about design code and solo building, which is something that I'm really passionate about.
Great. And just enough for the audience, if you guys are looking for the biggest UX episode we have, check out the episode with Don Norman. Question two, what's a key piece of knowledge that makes you different?
I actually think none at all. I don't have a secret knowledge or skill that you can't learn. I think everything I do, like designing and building, is really something you can do too. I think what I do have is a skill that I've developed over time. So I take like messy and complex topics and I turn them into something that you can use and understand quickly. It's not really something magic I was born with. It's really just work, and I think I've gotten quite good at it because I really like it, and I also spend a lot of hours doing it. I think the difference isn't what I know, but it's how I teach and translate it so that others can really own that for themselves.
Great, I love that. Okay, so question three, why this of all things? Why do you do what you do?
I just really love it. It generally feels sometimes like I'm getting paid to do my hobby. I'm just saying it because it hasn't always been that way. Like it was really a long and windy road to get there. And I think I've always loved design, but I'm not the super artistic person. So if you give me a blank canvas, I just freeze. Like it's too much freedom for me. So when I got into web design, that really clicked because it comes with constraints and logic and code and rules, and that's like when my brain fires, like weirdly enough. I really do my best, also creative work. I think when I have these boundaries. I like mixing that logic and the numbers and the creativity, and I think it's these opposite poles. I think it's just really interesting. And I'm really obsessed with understanding like the details of tech and tools. So it's like a random thing I enjoy, and then it's great that I notice that if I break it down for others, they can just consume it easier. But I think, I mean, if you say in the end like what it's all about, then I think it's really in getting into the making. Like I really love this rush of, I made this. And I think when you watch people making something, and it could be something physical, but also digital, then you really see it in their faces. It's like they're little kids, like they become really proud of what they made. And I think that is the sort of feeling that I'm chasing and I want to pass on to others as well.
Nice. Some people struggle with number four, and the question is, what does your future look like?
Yeah, I don't think I struggle with it so much because I honestly, I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. And maybe I'd like maybe more focus and more reach because I think, like, especially around solo building, the tools are here, but the story about who gets to build that still feels very narrow. So if you're not the founder type or you don't have funding, then people feel that it's not for them. And I think that's a really interesting subject I'd like to work more around. So this like really getting people into the building and shipping stuff and making it their own and just all the stuff I do. Like I want to keep on giving talks, and I am now doing some own projects again. So I'm really getting into like designing and building again, and not only teaching. And so I have a new platform called prettycheaphouses.com where you can find little renovation gems across Europe, and I try out new technology. Yeah, I mean, work-wise, I would just want to keep expanding. But then, I mean, besides all of that, I also have a family. So it's not only about what I want to do, but how to make it work so it feels good for all of us. And let's be real, like usually when you think you have it all pieced and puzzled together, then things shift and come in a very different way. So apparently that's the fun of it, that you don't really know how it's going to end up.
Nice. Five we say is unique to this show. The question is, let's talk about location. How does the notion of place play into what you do?
Not really much because I can work from pretty much anywhere. So the idea of place matters more to me personally than professionally. So I grew up mostly in Germany and then I went to school in the UK and I stayed there for uni. And after that, I moved around a lot. So I was like in Mexico and Argentina, Berlin, London, Barcelona. And it sounds all very exciting. And it really was. But it also came to a point where it just felt a little restless. So I've realized, well, I'm, for example, not cut out for being a digital nomad. So I like having my home and my friends and my routines. And I'll probably always feel a bit torn between places. So, for example, I really love Berlin. I think it's the most exciting city in Europe, at least, and I feel very much at home there. But now I live in Madrid in Spain, and I really love the people and the lifestyle and the sunshine. So I would not want to leave. And yeah, so always a bit torn, but also always very excited to explore new places.
Perfect. And number six, if you had to start from the beginning, what advice would you give your former younger self?
Um, I think probably that you often know what you want and need. You just talk yourself out of it. Like I tell my past self to take these gut feelings seriously in work and life, really. And I mean, I'm all for the rational path, but I really think that gut feelings, they're not random guesses. I think they're very much like as if it was like a compressed learning, no, about yourself. So it's what worked for you, what hasn't, what you keep cycling back to, what you need. So I don't think it's about following them blindly, but I don't think to dismiss it because it usually comes from somewhere that's very important to you. So it's not always easy. You can't always just follow a gut feeling, but if you have the chance, or just give it some attention, I think. And for example, I always knew I wanted to build and work independently long before I made the leap, but I overthought it. I tried to make it look good on paper. I waited for some, I don't know, some weird kind of permission. I think that, nobody's going to come and just give you that. So, and the funny thing is that stuff that felt very risky is now the stuff that everything I do stands on because I think it just aligns with me naturally.
Nice. And what's a day in your life like?
Not that exciting, I think. Pretty chilled. I'm not a morning person, not at all. I wish I was. I really admire that. But I have kids, so I have to become one by necessity. But I still sleep until the very last possible minute. And then I start getting my kids ready, bring them to school, and then I either go to the gym or for a run. Like we live near a really beautiful pine forest overlooking Madrid, so that's like my happy place to go and start the day. And then if I start the day there, nothing can go wrong pretty much. I really love sports. It's my non-negotiable. It's a fixed meeting with myself. And then after that, I work usually from home or sometimes from a coffee shop. And I don't really do lunch unless I meet friends. So I tend to skip breaks once I sit down for work. So I don't like taking breaks during work that much. And I know that's not the healthiest option, but I try to balance it out in other parts of the day. And then evenings, I hang out with my kids, my partner. Most days, pretty chilled. But also, I really love having people over as well. I love when the house is very lively and like I mean, Spain is very social, and I really enjoy that. So I think it's a good mix like throughout the week, and I'm really happiest when my day to day and my week just has a bit of everything.
Great. And eight is around lifelong learning. It's a popular topic. How do you stay up to date?
I mean, that's really the core of my job, no? So I do that for others. So most of my time when I work, I'm exploring new technologies and breaking it down into easier ways to learn it. And so I always dig into what's new and what's useful and how it fits together. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do all day.
Great. And tools. Do you use both digital and analog tools?
Yeah, so my main tools is Figma and also Cursor I use a lot and can't live without ChatGPT and Claude. But I think that's probably the ones if you listen to that in a year's time, they might have changed. But I do all my writing, like whenever I have to figure something out, I do it on paper. So I have a to-do list and then I have some sketches. And so I always have a little notepad with me usually.
Great. And the halfway point number 10, you talked a bit about this, but work-life balance, life-work balance, how do you deal with it?
So actually, I don't even, I think I don't even want a work-life balance. I'm really, I don't like the idea of splitting my life into neat halves. I really want to feel everything integrated. So I shape my work, I had the luxury to shape my work really around my life. And so it doesn't compete with it. So if I end up working a few hours on the weekend or during holidays, that's really not a burden. It actually feels very natural. And I also build a lot of flexibility in my week, so that helps me to pace things out and it works quite well. But I mean, let's keep it real. Even with all the flexibility, it doesn't always work. So there are moments I'm with my kids, but my brain is still at work, and I don't want to be that sort of person. And I think any parent listening to this can relate that that makes you feel very guilty. So I think the real challenge for me isn't the work life, but it's more that my mind is where I am.
Great. And if you weren't doing what you do now, what might you be doing?
It's funny because my friends always joke that I'd be the world's best bookkeeper or private secretary because I am super organized and I really love planning. I even enjoy admin work. So, but I mean, from what I would want to be, I think I would really love to be a developer, like really good back-end development. I now do only like designy front-end stuff, so that would be amazing. I have a lot of respect for that. But honestly, I think I could imagine a lot of stuff as long as I can get lost in it in my own way. I'm usually up for anything. So I think I'd love to be a gardener secretly, like really the not the planning part, like really the hands-on stuff. I'm not very good at it yet. I have a small garden. I really love, but it's a bit wild. But I think I'd really enjoy learning about that and the outdoor aspect.
And what would you not like to do with your career?
I don't think it's so much about the what, but it's much more about the how for me. So that's why I think like a big corporate environment, I'm not the best fit. I do my best work in like small, flexible teams or like solo. I don't like working in a fixed hierarchy. So I really like being close to the product and making decisions and moving quickly and have this space to just dive in. So I usually the way I work, I don't even have a title and there's not even an org chart. So I think corporate fit. I'm probably not corporate fit.
Do you have a favorite word, quote, or sentence?
Yeah, actually, that's very funny because in the latest talk that I give, it's about solo building, and I say what my favorite word is agency, and I love that word because so I'm German and we don't really have a word for it. So when I first heard it, it really felt like someone handed me a name for something I'd always felt, but I couldn't explain. So I think in the end, it's about that feelings of agency a lot, that you have a feeling of control over your work, your career, and your life. And I think it's very important that this is very different for all of us. And it's very important to understand where you feel that sense of agency. So, for example, you might feel that in a corporate environment. So there isn't one right or one wrong. And I actually have a new favorite word lately. So that's also one serendipity. We don't have that in German either. I really like when in other languages I find words that we don't have. So that is for those who also don't know, that's these moments that just kind of happen unplanned and they turn out to be exactly what you needed. Like when you randomly stumble upon a place or a person or a book that really shifts your perspective and really sticks with you. I think that sounds, it's a very lovely word. It's like a little magic nudges. And I like the concept because I'm a lot of time very rational. So it's a nice reminder to keep some space in your life for that stuff to happen.
Great. And how about a least favorite word, quote, or sentence?
Well, that's tricky. I don't know if there's like bad words and sentences. I actually I had the other day or like quite a while ago, I had a very strong reaction because someone called someone else an underperformer, and I just froze. Like when someone says something and you caught off guard, but you don't even know why. So I thought about it later, and I thought that saying someone isn't meeting expectations, that's it's never nice, but it's a necessary conversation. But I think calling someone an underperformer, it's like their whole identity. I found that quite cruel, and I don't think we need to walk on eggshells with language, but I think we should notice when it starts describing a behavior and it starts deciding who someone is. The funny thing is also, saying that, I think I probably used the word overperform myself, and I never had that thought about it. So maybe I should also reconsider that myself for the future a bit. So it goes in both directions.
Nice. And 15, you're choosing one word to describe yourself. What word do you choose?
Oh, I'm hoping I'm a little more than a word. I hope a bit more layered than that. But I'm just thinking what my friends would say. They'd probably say intense, but I don't. Let's find a nicer one. So probably hands-on or resourceful. Like I really like making the most of what's already there. For example, that you can build so much with really simple tools if you just start and don't overthink it. And I think it's more about the effort and the attitude and just get going rather than waiting for the perfect conditions. So, and then, I mean, they will also need a lot of luck, so can't ignore that. But the thing is that you can't control the luck, but you can set up the other stuff and make the best out of what you have. And then if luck comes by, then you're ready to catch it. And if it never comes by, at least you had a nice time.
Great. And what keeps you up at night?
Sleep, or rather the lack of it. So the moment I put my head onto the pillow, my brain loves looping through ideas and things I wanted to build and moments I wish I'd handled differently and random to-do lists. So I think apparently it's quite common. And I used to think I could just push through it and sleep later. But I've learned the hard way a little bit now that, I mean, rest isn't some reward at the end. It's really the base layer of everything. And it doesn't just happen at night. Like you have to prepare for it during the day. So that's really, really not my strength. And I'd still rather run up a mountain than sit quietly in a room. But I'm working on it. So slowly with mixed results and a lot of jokes from my friends about me working hard on relaxing with intent. So at least I'm amusing people. So while I'm not sleeping.
Great. And final stretch here. What's a dream you're chasing?
Honestly, I don't think I'm chasing a dream in the traditional sense. I don't think I'm after one big thing or moment or goal. I just want my day to day to feel right. I want it to feel like something that I've chosen and not something I'm stuck in. And I want to do my work and I want to be around people I like and I want to build the life that feels good. So, I mean, maybe that is the dream, live the life you want to live. So, I mean, it's tricky enough at times to do that. Maybe I'm also a bit of a strategic pessimist, so I don't want to jinx it by dreaming too far. I've one big dream actually. That would be one day giving a TED talk. That's like my big dream, but I have a few years left to work on that and see if that happens one day.
Great. And what inspires you?
People really, I mean, in all kind of ways. I love being around someone who's really into what they do. I think you can't really explain it. It's more like an energy. It's like what it makes you want to lean in and just pay attention to what they do and hang out with them. It can be about work, but it can also be about something completely different. So, like one of my closest friends, she's really into DIY. And once I visited her home and she had built a climbing wall in the hallway for her kids, which I thought was pretty awesome. And I think all of my friends there have some mild obsession or intensity with something like, I don't know, cooking or music or art or sport. Or they're very nerdy. I like good nerdy conversation. Gets me very excited. And if there's a bit of good humor, a bit of nerdy conversation, a bit of optimism, then, you made my day. So, I mean, in a nutshell, I think inspiration happens when someone or something makes you feel alive and engaged in a way. And so it's not about what they do, it's more about that high energy they have that wakes you up and gets you thinking and makes you want to get moving as well.
Great. And last couple here, number 19. Any advice you'd like to share?
Yeah, probably don't take random advice from people you don't know online. So that would include me. But if you had to pick one, or if I had to pick one, I think it would be in work and in life. If it costs you your peace, then it's too expensive.
Great. And finally, number 20. How can our listeners keep tabs on you and what's our call to action?
So you find me mainly if you follow me on LinkedIn, that's where I'm most active, and then also on moonlearning.io and the solar.io. You can drop me an email at any time or just Google me and then you see stuff I do and events and conferences, then come and say hi.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining. You came as a recommendation, and I'm so glad we were able to record this. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.